Hello boxing fans, right now I'm talking about Carl the Cobra Froch versus Yusaf, return of the Mack. Come on, return of the Mack. Watch my flow. Yeah, anyway, getting straight into the advantages, we're looking at the power. Froch has the power in this fight, I think. He has very decent power. He's not got one punch knockout power, he's got this combination power. It's not explosive like someone like Carl Froch. It's like it can be used like a cobra basically. When it hits you, it's powerful, but it's not that one punch power. You know what I mean? It can be a few combinations can put you clean out, but it's not one punch is knocking you clean out like with Dave Day. There's a difference in what he does. He does have that killer instinct though. You can't teach killer instinct. You either are born with it, you can't teach it. Right? He's got that killer instinct. Once he's got your head, he goes in for the kill. Even the guys he's not knocked out, people like Arthur Abraham and Mikel Kessler to an extent, he had them hurt at times and he went in for the kill. The only thing is his power didn't really, bring them down, or they had the better defense than we give them credit for to what they actually stayed up. That's sometimes, like especially when Arthur Abraham's stayed the way he just holds his hands straight up and won't let shots through. He took him apart basically. Looking at Yusaf Mack, he does not have the same killer instinct as Carl Froch. He does have decent power. Let's not get it overrated. Yeah, when you've got he's got 31 wins, over half by way of knockout. You're carrying some kind of whack there. It's not that one punch power either. But he does well and he does his job right. Let's look at it like this. He is coming down in weight 2. If he's not weight drained, it could be foolish to count him out as he'll be bringing power down with him. That's something you should look at. His power's not really brought up to 175. So coming back down to 168, we'll see if he's still got it where he did have most of his knockouts. It'd be a good thing to see. Looking at the speed, I give Froch the edge here. He's got very nice, fast hands, you know what I mean? He's a light guy for the 168 pounds. If he was an, American, or, if he was promoted by something like Golden Boy Promotions, yeah, I could see them trying to drag him all the way down to 160, and then they've moved him up to 168, and then they might even push him on to 175, just the way that they promote their fighters to be, multi-weight division champions. Froch ain't like that, he could have probably made 160. I don't think he could do it right now at the age of 35, but he always comes in shape. He's got very fast hands for this weight, like I said, because he's a lighter guy, and that should also help into the shock factor with this fight, as Yusaf Mack being a 175-pound fighter right now. He's going to come down in weight, and that may take away from the speed that he does have, if you understand what I'm saying. Moving on to chins, what am I looking at with the chins, right? Basically, yeah, we know that Froch has got that granite chin. We know that there could be a nuclear holocaust right now, and if you want to find me, I'll be standing behind Carl Froch's chin, because I'll still be safe, and that thing will still be standing. When we look at Yusaf Mack, basically, yeah, it's not too good in the chin department, and that's going to be one of the main telling points. You look at Alejandro Barrio, who was a big puncher, and Librado Andrade, who was like a Mexican version of Froch, but the Mexicans don't actually dominate divisions above, I say 140 pounds, so I'd say Andrade was like a weaker version of Froch, if you don't take that out of context, like, if you understand what I mean when you compare what they do. Froch is like better in almost every aspect, I think, personally. Those guys were knockout losses and both to heavy-handed punches. Then you move up to 175 and you're looking at Glenn Johnson and you're looking at Tavoris Cloud, also both knockout losses to these guys. When you look at Johnson, this guy is a heavy hitter, but while he got older, he's got more limited in his age, more one-dimensional, in the fact that that's something to worry about. I mean, Mack was winning, I think, both of those fights actually. So it was something to worry about, that he cannot take that power. I mean, when you look at Froch, he actually did fight Glenn Johnson, and I don't know what one of the judges was saying when they got a majority decision, because I think one of them put it down as a draw. I mean, Glenn Johnson, he did hit Froch with a lot of shots, but You know, Froch took him easy, and like there was only one person who was getting hurt in that fight, and for me it wasn't Froch. When you look at Tavoris Cloud, and call me crazy if you want, but I actually think Tavoris is very, very overrated. You know, I think he is a creation of hype. Yeah, you know, you look at who he's fighting, and this guy's fighting guys that Nathan Cleverly's beat, and people aren't calling him out on it. I mean, I think some of the UK fans can be. What would be the best word? What would be the best word to use right now? Too judgmental, yeah. I mean, some of the guys that Tavoris Cloud now he's fighting a guy called Majid Mohammadi, yeah. And I mean, Nathan Cleverly beat him by I think a decision anyway. Before he was a world champion, and now Cloud's fighting him. While Cloud should be fighting the likes of the top contenders in the division. Now he's holding the title. Once you hold that title, you got to take on all comers, mate. Nathan Cleverly's not doing it. I understand that, but neither is Tavoris. Obviously he knocked out Yusaf Mack. I think again Yusaf Mack could have been winning that fight. Don't take that as gospel, but another big hitter stopped him. Something to think about. Coming down in weight to 168 pounds. That could help hurt, or it could help. I don't know. His chin. But against a big hitter in 168 pounds right now, that could be an issue, man. I mean, I don't think Froch is the biggest puncher at 168. I think maybe there's one or two that are much bigger punchers, if you just stood there and took a punch off him. But it's something definitely to worry about, especially for Yusaf Mack. I could go through basically, boxing ability and movement, but even though I think Yusaf Mack's, decent in these attributes also, I still think Carl Froch is better. I think Froch is the better boxer, like he's shown in his last fight. He can, believe it or not, do a tactical surprise. Something that Froch has never been given, the props for, and they've just took it away from his opponents, was that whenever people have counted Froch out, Froch has actually come forward and, really changed up the game. I think Froch is one of these guys who gets, what's the way to use, man? I'm in this freezing cold room. I need heat in the lounge in this house, man, I'm telling you. Yeah, one of the things Froch does is, when he's supposed to win heavily, yeah, he doesn't perform to the standards we expect him to perform. But when we count him out, he performs well over the, what we expect him to do. So, it all depends what it comes down to on the night, really, what kind of Froch turns up. Either way, I think Froch wins this fight. I think Froch the worst case scenario is Froch wins a unanimous decision. That's what I think is the worst case. I don't think Yusaf Mack's going to win this fight. Politically, I don't think he could win this fight. I think if he doesn't knock Froch out, Froch wins this thing. I'm not saying it's going to be a robbery. I'm just saying you understand how things happen. Look at Marco Huck. They had big plans for him. He won the fight, even though a lot of people think he lost. It will happen to other people. Tavoris Cloud, for example, they had big plans for him. A lot of people say he lost to Campillo, including myself, by the way. But the fact that they had big plans for this guy meant that the money carried him through the fight to the next stage, if you understand, and he has to prove himself in the next stage. So either way, I think this is going to be. I reckon Froch will knock Mack out. The weak chin issue is going to be too much, But it's a payday for Froch, and it's a payday for Mack, I guess. There's going to be another 2 or 3 fights maybe down the line for Froch, or both big fights before he calls it a day. We're looking at either bute and Kessler, or bute and Kessler. Either way, or something I'd like to see? Bute versus Kessler. That would be a decent fight. Winner fights Froch. And then Froch, if he wants to, faces Andre Ward. He fought Andre Ward in America. He says he wants to get Andre Ward here. I don't think it'll happen. I doubt Andre Ward has a passport. But, that's Andre Ward. That's another story. That's another video. Tell me what you think about this fight. Tell me who's going to win, and tell me how you think Froch is going to go. How he's going to fight in this one.